how to present data without losing your audience. This is probably the $1,000,000 question, because we've all been in this situation where we are talking about our work, maybe giving a presentation on a conference or on a meeting, and we all of a sudden see people like checking their phones, scrolling, and really disconnecting from our talk. And so the question is, how do we make sure this doesn't happen? And first of all, in the first place, why does it even happen? So there are many questions to that, and I want to provide some of the answers today. So first of all, why does it happen? So it happens very simply because people don't find interesting what we are talking about. They don't think it's worth their time. They prefer scrolling on TikTok than listening to our talk. Now, of course, you cannot never have 100% efficacy, so there are always going to be some percentage of the audience who is not listening to you. But how can we really maximize this percentage and make sure that people actually listen to us? There is only one way to do so, and that is talk about something they care about. And that's actually the answer to that. Not, how do we make sure this happens? So more often than not, as STEM professionals, our work is very complex. It is very, not only complex, but it is also very difficult to explain, because we work with algorithms, we do complicated experiments, we apply complicated protocols which are objectively complicated to understand, even for some professionals, let alone for people who are not experts in our specific field. So the way to not lose the audience and the way to give the information that we have to share, but at the same time make sure that people actually listen to what we are trying to say and then hear what we are saying, is to structure that information and sort of pack it up in something they care about. For example, very tangible. If you are talking about your new algorithm, if you're talking to people who are not experts in your field, they are not developers, they are not programmers, engineers, they probably don't care about the details of the algorithm. They probably do care if they are, for example, stakeholders. They care about the margins. They care about how this algorithm optimized a certain thing, how it saved money or how it made money, how it saved time, and so on. So we really need to find the gap and address what is it they care about, and then put our information in that cookie cutter, if you will. So that's the skill that I think it's worth. I don't know how much money, because it's really so important for STEM professionals and so important for your career, that it really gets you from like being an ordinary developer to being the person, the go-to person for that specific problem. Because I deeply believe that our expertise also comes in the form of how capable we are of explaining the importance of our work and explaining the impact of our work to people who have nothing to do with our fields. So a good way to do so is to really, whenever you're designing your slides or preparing for a presentation, preparing for a meeting, think about your audience. That's like your baseline. Always think about them. What do they care about? Why are they here? What do they expect from this meeting, from this presentation, from this report? And just by asking yourself this super simple question, you are already one huge step ahead into the design of your presentation, but also having in mind that those people don't necessarily care about the same things that you care about. Also, they most probably don't know the things that you know. So it is very important for them to feel, I often use this metaphor, like your audience should feel like they are on a guided tour when you are talking to them, when you're explaining your work to them. So I really hope that you will find this useful, and for your next video, for your next presentation, you can apply this very, very simple technique of just stopping for a moment and reflecting what is it that they care about. If you're interested in practicing this, because of course, one thing is to know the thing and the other thing is to actually apply it. So if you feel that this sort of resonates, but you struggle with applying that, like how do I start? How do I make this presentation? Like I understand everything in theory, but it sounds so confusing when I'm staring at the blank screen or at the blank slide. If you feel that way, I will leave a link down below and invite you to join a free discovery call with me where we can talk about your specific issues and see if your specific issues and your specific challenges that you face in your career communication wise can be addressed in my coaching program, because this is exactly what we do in my coaching program. We take your struggles, your challenges when it comes to structuring your thoughts, explaining your work in a concise way, career progress when it depends on your communication skills, and we practice all of those things in a very structured and hands-on way. So I hope you found this video useful and see you next time. Bye bye.